Hello and welcome to this live stream. Good morning, says Vince. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Flying a P47. There is 50 minutes left on this map. Only 50 minutes. A lot of this is going to be absorbed simply by climbing. I've been on this map. I've already been killed once. I got into a fight at high altitude with a D9 and I figured out where I went wrong. I started diving, trying to follow him in a dive, and of course the D9 doesn't have any problem in pulling out of a steep dive or in being in control at high speed because it's an FW. But a P47 is good at diving as it is. It'll, I think after about 460 miles per hour, you got hardly any elevator control at all. So I ended up diving right down close to the deck, almost hitting the deck, managing to recover, and got up to about 8,000 feet, and I was climbing up with a pretty high power setting, and then he pounced on me and shot me down. I initially saw him below me. I was very high. I was at about 20,000 feet. I saw him below me probably at about 12,000 feet, just above the clouds. Yeah, so I think what I should have done is just maintained my altitude and not followed the D9 down, just kept my altitude. And at some point, if he had have tried to come up and join me at my altitude, then I would have tangoed. But keeping my dives non-existent almost, like just keeping the descents pretty shallow and then zooming up again. I did get a shot on him, but it was vertical straight down in a dive, a twisting dive. It was pretty messy. And of course a D9 can handle that and it can pull out with good saving of altitude, but not a P47. D9 is a better plane it's a more advanced plane, etc., than a P47. But still, you can do well with a P47, I'm sure. That's what I'm setting out to prove to myself more than anything. There's the river up ahead. The river is the area of activity all along the river. That's where the fight is. There's not too many players on today just now. Probably a bit too early. I think there's about 7 Axis players versus about, 12 Allied players. And there's only 45 minutes left. Just going 12,000 feet. Going to go up to 20. When I was at 18 to 20,000 feet, I looked down on the other side of the river and I could see an aircraft down there below the level of the clouds. Don't know exactly what level it was at. And then as I was looking at it, I caught sight of the D9, and at some point the D9 saw me as well, and then it was on. So definitely it was an error to try and follow the D9 in the dive. You could probably follow a K4 in a dive because it would have trouble with high speed control, I think. Although it does have elevator trim. So the other thing is this plane doesn't have elevator trim. So pulling out of a steep dive becomes really problematic. You want to keep at a high altitude if possible. I have found that if I see a fight below me, if I see an enemy aircraft below me, the biggest problem is getting down to its altitude without losing control. So I have to figure something out to do with that. Apparently this plane is legendary for its dive, so analysing that a bit, unpacking it, what does it mean? I think it means that it has a good acceleration in the dive. Its dive must be a high acceleration dive, but it's not an open-ended dive. Once you get to that velocity never exceed, you got to do something or else you'll lose control of your elevator and you'll have a hard time pulling out. So I think it's just referring to the acceleration in a full power dive. It must be pretty good compared to the other planes. But then what? We're at 16,000 feet just now. The river is coming up. There's a city there. What city is it? It's Bonn. Got into that fight. I was over Cologne, which is up there. Closing in on 17,000 feet. I make my way up north a bit first and then I'll head south. The main thing is to gain some altitude. 17,300 feet. The indicated airspeed has actually increased with increase of altitude, which is impressive. It shows that I'm genuinely producing more power. Most difficult of all Bodenplatte planes. Doesn't stand much of a chance against 190 and 109. Yeah, well, I mean, that's generally I think that's mostly true. And that's why strategy and tactics becomes all the more important, which is why I'm putting such an emphasis on climbing to a high altitude where hopefully I'll have some kind of a competitive advantage. And just being up high, you've got energy. What have we got? 19,600 feet. That's great. We've gotten to basically to 20,000 feet very quickly. Many people fly at high altitude. What I'm hoping to do is to capture the aircraft that are loitering above targets that they're protecting. And I'm so high that I'm even above them. Like they're going to be just above the cloud base looking down, and then I'm going to be just above them who themselves are just above the cloud base as stated, and hopefully they won't see me and I'll be able to just kind of float along for a bit and gently come down and blast them and then float back up again. That's kind of the plan, and I think it's a good plan. Obviously you've got to find the right target. Okay, so there's the river. I've reached the river. And there's 40 minutes left, which is better than I thought. And I'm at 21,500 feet. So I'm basically gonna fly over here for a bit and then just head south, eventually down to here. There's a lot of activity just here. Also, if you see an aircraft down below, you have to wonder which team is it on, because you can't necessarily identify it from this high up. They're hard to see what they are. Alright, that is Cologne. Actually, no, it's not. I think it might be Dusseldorf. Let's just get our bearings. I'm going to head south. I think I'm too far north. That's Dusseldorf. Definitely won't be any enemies up here. Have to go further south. Can't see much with that cloud there. Still at 20,000 feet, which is good. Alright, there's the river. There could be an entire city hidden under that cloud. Down at 18,500 feet now. Off with 50% fuel, which is 700 litres. Most of that expended in the climb, I'm sure. Probably down to about 60% of that. I reckon I've probably got 400 litres left. Being roughly south down the river. It's not directly 180, it's on a slant, more like 120. And looking for cities under those clouds. Obviously there's one. It's either Cologne or Dusseldorf. It's got a runway to the north of it. Way to the north of it. Yeah, that was Dusseldorf. Way too far north up here. So I've got to get down to Cologne, which is as far north as I want to be. Then to Bonn, then down further, eventually to here. And hopefully make some good distance now, some good progress. One of the problems is when you look down, you tend to have to drop the nose and then you lose altitude. One thing that might help is just to look above the clouds mostly, like this. I can see the river in the distance. There is Cologne. And further on is Bonn. So I did have a fight over Cologne. I'd better watch out, that D9 might still be there. If he is there, I'll immediately, if I remember, put on the boost and stay at high altitude, and in fact even keep on climbing unless I can surprise him. If he's seen me, it becomes a game of energy, and performance, and if he hasn't seen me, it's a chance to ambush. There's Cologne. One of the great mysteries of the world is why is men's fragrance known as cologne? Which is also the name of this particular city. I get jumped at this altitude, not by a 262 because there aren't any on this map, but yes, for sure. Even at this altitude, but I don't think that's very likely because, as one of you guys pointed out, there's not many planes at this altitude. And also I've got good performance at this altitude. This is where the P47 flies the best. Alright, so Cologne, where that airfield is, that's an enemy position, and in the city of Cologne on the western side there's a allied position, so there's a few targets down there for both sides. And last time I was here I saw 2 aircraft, one above the clouds which I engaged, and there was directly before that there was one below the clouds. I've got my cow outlet shut. How's the temperature looking? Looks pretty standard. That's encouraging. With the outlet completely shut, I'll be faster. I don't want to drop the nose too much, but I don't want to lift it too much either. If I lift it, then the plane starts to bob around. 30 minutes remaining on the map. Even without zooming in, I was finding I could easily spot aircraft down there. Obviously, this is going to sound silly, but obviously, easily I could spot the aircraft that I could see. But the point I want to make is, who knows how many that were down there that I was looking at that I couldn't see. If you catch them in the sun, then you can see them. And if you catch them when they're not underneath a cloud. Alright, so that was that. Let's keep going 120. The Razorback, not too sure. They say that bubble canopy makes an aircraft slower than the Razorback style. That's probably why they never switched the 109 to a bubble canopy, because it would have made it slower. That's my theory. 51B. Hey, yeah. Is that in Normandy? Awesome. $650s for the fighter roll. Yeah, that's, I mean, you only need 6. That's a good point, actually. It saves some weight, be more manoeuvrable, which is plenty. Yeah, I agree. Alright, what's that down there? That's the city just north of Bonn, I think. I mean, just to the east of it, northeast. Where is the river? It's way over there. I've strayed off course. Not to worry. This will give me a good view of everything. That'd be Bonn down there. Looking around for aircraft. Might put her into auto level and just go along here. Enemy aircraft spotted near Bonn. Excellent. That's where I am. Albeit I'm about 10 miles away, but it's down there somewhere. thing about those clouds is if there's any aircraft down there above the clouds, I'm going to see it very easily. Alright, there is an aircraft down there. Do you see that? Just down there. He's very low though, and who could he be? And that's back up at Cologne. Yeah. He's very low. I don't know if I want to lose all my altitude going down there. Just he's pretty low, he's just flying around down there. If I go down there, he might be one of ours, and he might be... I don't know. Windorf Bridge under attack. That's in the south. Good vantage point from up here. Right under the wing is Bonn. There's an enemy aircraft spotted at Bonn. So far I've only seen one plane and it was under the clouds. Here all of the towns and airfields seem very close. You can look out one window and see one, and looking out the same window often see the other, even though they're a 5-minute flight apart when you're down on the deck. Alright, so that's Bonn. There was an enemy aircraft spotted there somewhere, and I can see an aircraft way down there. What could it be? Maybe I should just tail it for a bit. See if I can keep a visual on it. It's well below the clouds. It's basically on the deck. Don't know whose aircraft it is. There's two aircraft down there. One's chasing the other. I've lost both of them. No, I got one of them. If I was to descend now, it's going to be hard to get down there. There's still both of them there. Obviously I got the power right off. My speed must be horrendously high just now. Alright, so I know there's an enemy down there. If I can keep visual on him, that'd be good. Easier said than done though. Lost the enemy. See the parachute. Wherever the enemy is, he's just disappeared. Parachute, that's it. the enemy. Don't know. I am now myself a target because I've lowered my altitude so much. I'd be right down there right now if I could see my target. It's just vanished. Have to move on in a minute. The good news is the AAA is not shooting at me, even though I'm directly above it. But where is that enemy aircraft? Nowhere to be seen. Damn it! I'm at 13,000 feet. It's not too bad. But it gives me no competitive advantage. That's crazy, huh? I could see both of them, and then now I can't see the Axis aircraft. What a rip-off. Now I'm getting shot. It's even quite possible that the one that just shot me down was the one that I was looking for on the deck. Should have listened to my own advice and kept on moving. If I do want to take on a target that's on the deck, what I should do is dive adjacent to it, not at it, but with it to the one side, looking out the window in the front quarter view to the rear quarter view, and dive close to the VNE, which would be at almost 500 miles per hour, which is the red line there, and with the power off, so diving almost kind of not straight down, like a really steep dive, keeping an eye like that on the target as it goes by. That's probably the best way to lose altitude quickly, and then turn in on the target. There's got to be a way to do it. Minutes left on the map. I don't have time for any climbing just now, so it'll be on the deck, this one, to finish off this particular map. B25 parked over there. So if I did that over again, as soon as I saw that there were 2 aircraft in combat, that tells me one of them's an enemy. So I know there's an enemy down there. And then I should turn to the side of them and then cut the power and dive. Keep an eye on the speed and just keep it below 500 miles per hour. Which is the essential thing with that. And what else? Dive without hitting the never exceed speed. Keep an eye on the action as you're diving. Get to a better altitude where you can get in a striking, like you're at a striking altitude, not too high, but high enough that you have some energy to go in for a zoom. "15 minutes remaining on the map." G'day guys that just joined in the chat there. So I'm flying a P47D. I've got 50% fuel, 700 litres. And I've got 4 machine guns in each wing. In the future, I think I'll just, for an air combat, in the role as a fighter, I think I'll just take 6 machine guns instead of 8. That should make the ultimate dogfighter variation of a P47. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes they'll catch you if you don't check your 6. That's sometimes the case. Also, though, oftentimes you'll be looking back like that, and you'll be checking everything, and they'll still get you because they'll come up from underneath, which is a trick that I sometimes employ myself. A lot of guys, they're looking back and they get shot down while they're looking back. One way you can overcome that is to do this. It's a very slow roll, but you basically do that, and if you don't see anything beneath you, then you're kind of clear for the next 20 seconds. G'day. So, 15 minutes left. Not a great deal of time. Took off miles away, took off from here at Y46, going roughly, I should be going about 80 degrees actually. I don't know, if I want to get to Cologne, it's about 80. This will do us. Will I get to the river in 15 minutes time? I think only just. Going to be a lot harder to be at this lower altitude and make any kind of success. But with 15 minutes left, there's no time to climb, so I probably should try and climb a bit in the cruise out there. I should try and get to the cloud base. I think that's about 8 or 9,000 feet. Been shot down. What is that city? That's Cologne. So where's... So Bonn is way down the south there. Can't quite see it just yet. Only at 3,000 feet. It's not very high at all. Alright, there's Bonn. Barely just out of I'm at 3,500 feet. Cruising along very fast though. Over 200 miles an hour in this climb. Almost at 5,000 feet. It's Bonn. There's the airfield at Bonn. Somewhere there. Much closer to Cologne. I have tanks or something at Cologne. The enemy has something there at the airfield. Ten minutes. I don't know what other aircraft in Bodenplatte is harder to fly really and win than the P47. Aircraft in Bonn, well that's where I am. Whose flak is that? Hit, I think. It's one of ours. Honestly, the P47 got hit by one burst, and the engines just failed. The one thing is, this plane's supposed to be very robust. As you saw, I was sort of mostly keeping an eye on the tail, but still got jumped. So there we go. I assume that I got shot down. Oh, maybe I killed my engine. I'll have to go back and review it. I got some bullet holes in me, so I assume I got shot down by an aircraft, but I didn't see any status message. "5 minutes left." So this is combat box. Shot down a P-38 over Bonn. Nice. "47 intended as a high altitude interceptor escort." Yeah, that's right. P-47 is a dive attacker. Yep. Did I get hit, or you killed your engine? I don't know. I think I got hit. That much seems to be clear. But by what? I don't know. Flak? Yeah, it could have been flak. Makes me feel slightly better. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is have an intermission, and I'm going to come back and fly the same aircraft again, unless the 262 is available, and see what I can do. So guys, it's intermission time. I'll be back in about 5 minutes time. Nice landing. Cheers. Is it because of ping? Ping hasn't been an issue on this particular flight. Hopefully it won't be. Fingers crossed. Alright guys, I am back. Looks like we have a new map here. 2.5 hours left on the map. Finny, I see you've joined us. I'm going to fly a P47 again. Do you want to, are you going to? Alright, first thing I see, there's no 262 airfield that I can recognise. I just got to think of a strategy. It's not looking good so far. Allies 6, Germany 1. Hopefully those numbers change. I can't fly on the map if there's just one opponent. In the meantime, P47. I might actually increase my altitude in a flight out to here, and then here I'll be at a good altitude, like 20,000 feet plus, and then I can fly along the river up here at 20,000 feet, looking for targets. Might be an idea. But with one, yeah, I'll have to observe that in the next 10 minutes and see if it changes. Alright, so it looks like you can go for 650s or 450s. 4 might be a bit less than necessary. If I go for 6, I can still have a lot of ammo. So normally I'd have 2136. If I add the additional, I get 3400. Get rid of those, add those, and I've got Alright, so with additional ammo, with 2 machine guns removed, I've got 2550 rounds. It's quite a lot, I guess. So 3 in each wing. That's still plenty. 300 meters convergence. 700 liters of fuel. I'll stick with this camo scheme. It doesn't fit to the theatre, but the colours are pretty good. The only other one is Cross of Lorraine. Let's check that out. That one also kind of fits this terrain. I'll use this one instead. Although it's got those invasion stripes, which are easy to see. I don't know. Alright, that'll do us. Still one Axis player only. This server's too quiet at the moment. We'll give it 5-10 minutes and see what happens. Otherwise I'll jump across to Tactic Werewolf, which has 35 players on it. Alright, gun sight set, the turbo supercharger's on, the lights are on. Inlet set, outlet set, oil radiator set, throttle's back, brakes are off. Mixture's set at 85. Now, where do I want to go? Down there, I guess. Can't even see the flame. That's a runway there. Alright, so he's going that way. Alright. So if you've got long enough runway, you can take off at 85% power. I'll be heading due east. In Evan, in aviation, altitude is measured in feet, at least in the Allied countries, and horizontal distance is measured in yards or in meters. So that 3 stands for 300 yards. Yeah, man. It moves it bigger or smaller. Moves bigger or smaller for the distance out, and also moves bigger or smaller for the wingspan. So I'm climbing out with 700 litres of fuel. That's 50%. I assume that's what it is. I didn't change it. If it reset itself with the new map, I'd be in trouble. Down here somewhere is a fuel gauge. It should be reading about half. Main, don't know. That's fuel. Looks like it's at about 180 gallons or something. Sounds about right. Main is less than, what's the maximum? 270, and it's less than 200, but it's more than 100. 150? 175 maybe? 160? 160 times 4 to get gallons. It's going to be roughly 700 litres minus whatever I've used. So that's all good. So yeah, I took off with 700 litres of fuel. Very cumbersome at this stage, climbing out, going roughly east. Just crossed a double, like a river with a canal. And a town. And another town. Let's check that on the map. Took off from here. I'm going to climb out east till I hit this river, and then at 25,000 feet go along the river and look for targets below. I must have just crossed between these two towns and the canal and the river, so long way to go yet. What's the altitude? Already pretty good. 7,000 feet already. Excellent. Made better progress than I expected. These clouds might prove troublesome. Can't spot much beneath them. This aircraft doesn't need to be at 26,000 feet, but it helps. But, of course, there's not much action up there. All you really need is to have an energy advantage over your opponent, so that when you spot them, you can dive on them in preferably a shallow dive that you don't exceed your never exceed speed. Shoot them up and then zoom out of there. Like if you have 1,000 meters, like 3,000 feet above them, that's pretty good, I think. Almost up to 12,000 feet. This is very good. Let's just check how many enemies are on the map though, that's the important thing. Oh, no worries at all, there's 7. That's plenty. Well, it's not plenty, but it's better than 1. There was 1 before. G'day Zane, welcome. Enjoy the channel. Thanks. Coming up on 16,000 feet. Now we're getting somewhere. And now we're at 17,000 feet. From 17,000 feet up to 27,000 feet is a breeze. You go so quickly in comparison to the journey thus far. I think part of it is you've burnt off fuel, so you're lighter, but a big part of it is just that the aircraft performs better at this altitude and above. It's, in my opinion, it's a noticeable difference. So basically I'm going to keep flying until I see a huge river, which is the same river as the previous map. In fact, can I see it now? Maybe not quite yet. Eighteen and a half thousand feet now. That's pretty high. IL-2 for 12 weeks. That is quite some discipline. Got a bunch of lakes down there. I don't think we're quite at the river yet. The river being the Rhine River. put the nose down for a bit and see if I can see anything. Nothing yet under those clouds. What are we at? 21,000 feet. So it was a relatively painless climb from 17 up to 21. There's 22. Great, over 3 kilometers, yeah. There's the river. Very high up. .24. Alright, so that's the river. We got a town there. I'm pretty much level off here. I'm so high up though. I might as well go to 25. Might as well go to 26. I don't know. Enemy aircraft spotted at 1614. So I'm at 25,000 now. I'm going to go to 26. That's supposed to be the operating altitude of this plane, I believe. So we'll try 26, see how it goes. I'm at the stall. Wonder if I've hit my maximum altitude. Surely not. Uh-oh, what's the RPM do? Oh no, guys, this is not good. I've wrecked the engine somehow. The RPM's going crazy. Temperature, cylinder head temperature. Way too high. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. So we got up to 25,000 feet, and then the cylinder head temperature got too high, and then the engine broke. I guess that's a lesson when you're getting up above 20,000 feet to keep an eye on the cylinder head temperature. It was well out of the green range. The needle was up near the red, above the red line, and then the engine failed. Probably could have avoided that by not going quite so high, or just leveling off at 20,000 feet, 22,000 feet. I can still get a kill. I've got massive energy. Just got to find something to hit though. It's going to be a long glide from 25,000 feet into enemy territory. So we are here somewhere, going up this way. Should try and get to Krefeld. So I'll keep following the river. big town here. I actually don't know what it is. Actually, I do. It's Cologne. Ah, man, I've got a long way to glide. I won't get to Krefeld. Airfield down there. The closest thing is the munitions thing. Munitions depot. I don't think I'll get there though. Not. I lost a lot of altitude when I was looking at the map, is one thing. You try and start the engine again. No. That's wanting to stop the engine. Close up the cowl for less drag. Yeah, that's an idea. That, what just happened there reminds me of flying the FW190A8. If you fly the A8 at, say, continuous power with the, there's like a cowl flap, like an outlet flap or something. There's one flap basically. If you fly to the top of your climb like I just did there with the 47, but with an FW190A8, and you've got that flap open 70%, no problem. But if you do it less than that, you'll get the same result. Like the engine will seize pretty much at the top of your climb. So you'll climb out nicely. You get to like 4,000 meters, and then the engine fails. But so the remedy for that is to just keep the flap open 60-70% in the climb, and then the engine is okay. With this one, I don't know. I think I just need to keep an eye on the temperature above 20,000 feet. I think that's the lesson there. There's Dusseldorf in the distance with those rivers on the left. Similar with the LA5. Oh, okay. I mean, that was a mammoth climb out to 25,000 plus feet. It was at continuous power, but yeah. I think you can basically go 3/4 of the way along that climb, but then you'd want to kind of give the aircraft a rest or something and then keep going high if you wish. (2,000 feet). Well, now I'm officially a sitting duck. Let's test out the guns with, so I've got 650 cals and about 2,200 rounds. Overheat. Plenty of ammo, that's for sure. You do a lot of damage just with these 6 guns. That's brutal. Any Messerschmitt or whatever that gets caught in that is done. That's so much ammo. So this is with 3 guns, this is with much less ammo. Still plenty. Plenty of, like, the amount and the firepower too. That's kind of devastating. Still going. Strangely hypnotic. I reckon if you give them little bursts like that out to 300, easier said than done because you just want to spray and pray, but 50 cal is actually very accurate. Still going. It's like unlimited ammo. Alright, there we go. Alright guys, so that climb was pretty bad, it sucked and everything. So the takeaway point is, I looked down just as the engine was about to seize and I noticed the cylinder head temperature was up near 300. First thing I noticed with the RPM was going haywire. And the next thing I did was look at the cylinder head and it was at 300. This one up here was okay, which is the oil. I think that's the oil. I think. I don't know. But yeah, definitely the cylinder head temperature was like way high. So the engine was overheating. The RPM was going crazy of the propeller. Right, there's only one thing to do and that's try again. Yeah, if you have a bunch of P47s, then that's a really potent force. Even if you have 2 or 3 P47s, they're going to be pretty hard to beat. More cow over 20, yeah, probably something like that. Alright, just to recap, so we got 700 litres of fuel. We've got, and you can go for 4 machine guns, but I'm going to go for the 6 with 2,550 rounds instead of the maximum if you have all 8 guns, which is 3,500. Got the gyro sight, so that's that in a nutshell. 300 meters convergence, 50% fuel, and let's go. I'm not going to go so crazy with the altitude this time. I'll just go up to 15,000 feet thereabouts and just try and keep it between 15 and 20. That's an interesting idea with because it's colder up high, that the engine could get cold from that. No, I didn't open the oil very much more. I think it was at about 30-40%. And I didn't open the inlet much, I kept it at 50. So those two could have been opened more. For a long climb out, that might be something to consider. We got 11 axis players, so that's plenty. Again, that's not plenty, but it's better than one. That is the only time that I can recall having a problem with that, like with engine overheating. And I think all it was just a sustained climb out. Like you saw it, it was a huge climb. Normally the plane is robust in the climb. Alright, so I'm not really going to do the same thing. I do need to get some altitude, but I'll just keep heading 90 and I'll climb to 15 or so, and then I'll start seeing what's up. Right, so already at 3,000 feet. I should get to just above the clouds, I think. Or maybe at the same level as the clouds. Shit! Alright, shot down at 3,500 feet. Time for a sip of coffee. Alright, so I was there and I got shot down. 190 volting. What I might do this time, he's probably going to see me spawn again, but I might go in the opposite direction or something to get up to that same altitude. Otherwise it just becomes repetitive, doing all these takeoffs but no combat. You want to get some combat in the 47. Alright, there's an enemy here somewhere. What can I do? Just try and find it or look for the flak. Couple of planes taking off down there. Engine oil message. It might be long gone by now, or it might not be. In any case, I'll keep climbing my altitude. The flak doesn't seem to be doing much. Well, we got like 5 aircraft in the sky over this airfield now. Alright, so I'm going to just take off and go roughly east now. It's quite a fine sight there. I think we have 2 Tempests. I'll go 45 degrees. Altitude 8,000 feet. Boost off. Right. Alright, I've just got the chat back. My phone ran out of batteries. Alright, now this plane is about as streamlined as it's going to get. I think I'm here. I should climb, and I'm going to go at this area here. $10,000 feet. Not really going to be able to see too much at this altitude in terms of what's below me. I might as well actually stay lower, as much as I don't really want to. Stay just below the clouds. Car flaps open incline. Yeah, thank you. If I go 90 degrees from here, I should have the fuel depot. What's that? I think that's the fuel depot there. Indeed it is. Alright, there's probably going to be some enemies around here. Better watch out. Also, the fuel depot has flak. First things first, do I see any planes down there? No. I'm skirting around the fuel depot, then I'm going 90 degrees, and I'm heading for the enemy's airfield. I'm going to sit around the airfield and look for aircraft that are taking off. Or that are cruising off at fairly low altitude. The trick is to stay far away enough from the airfield that it doesn't raise the alarm, that the flak doesn't fire, the flares don't go off, and so on. The enemy would already get an alarm of sorts. Their radar messages say that an allied aircraft is spotted near the fuel depot, which is me. There's the flak. Damn it. I have to change course because of that. I flew too close to the depot. This is really not good. Should get company in the next few minutes with flak like that. Pretty big river down there. $15,000 feet, not too bad. Alright, there's the depot. Pretty far away from it now. So I'm here and I'm going here. I should really now be heading towards Duisburg, maybe 100 degrees. $15,000 feet, it's not too bad. Good opportunity to see enemy aircraft transiting. They use the fuel depot, the town and the airfield as a landmark. It's a good navigation landmark. There's 18,000 feet. You climb full throttle, 83% RPM and turbo on. I've got the turbo on. Let me just check I've turned the boost. Yep. There's a town. There's a river, and there's an airfield. That's town of Crefeld, and there's Crefeld airfield. Duisburg should be to my left. Duisburg should be down there somewhere. Can't quite see it yet. Not to worry. Let's have a look at the airfield. There's two airfields there though. There's the one to the north that you want. Something to note. It is there, that's the one to the north. And there's the one to the south. I'm pretty close to it, the flak's going to start going off soon. Most probably. Not exactly a hive of activity, doesn't seem to be anything going on there. Where's Duisburg? I see a city there, that's probably it. I missed most of the conversation in the chat, but I see something interesting. I will start off with microlight. You don't need a flying license. That sounds pretty cool. I wonder how long my 700 litres of fuel is going to last. So at least 14 enemies. There's nothing going on at this airfield. Let's just head west for a bit. So the enemy has these airfields. Maybe I'll go north and check out this airfield. I'm in the perfect position to intercept coming and going from that field, but there's just no activity that I can see. We're at 19,000 feet, it's not too bad at all. Going to go north from here. I think I've got about half my fuel left that I took off with. There's another airfield up here I'm looking for. Two, because there's one on this side of the river as well. I've gone past them. I'm over this thing here. Alright. Town. That's Wessel. Cloud is slightly problematic for spotting on the ground. Should be going about 120 to get there, to the one of the airfields. There it is there. I don't see nothing there. Up I go. Basically at my velocity never exceed just there. There's the flare going off. That was too much cow. Zero cow for combat and dive, yeah, I can see why. There it is there, there's the other airfield. Any enemy? Nothing. Like, oh man. Not good, not good. Yeah, it's the style of flying that I'm doing. I'm staying on the high side, and of course you've got this cloud cover which makes it more difficult to see what's below you for navigation purposes and also for spotting enemy aircraft. So I'm going to head roughly west now and get to the main area where all the targets are, and hopefully loitering above those, hopefully two things: won't run out of fuel, and hopefully we'll spot something below that I can dive on. I usually don't like mirrors so much, they tend to get in the way, and I never use them anyway. I never look in them. I don't think a mirror's ever, maybe it saved me once or something, but not very much. So we got about 35 players on the server in total. Less than 10 minutes of fuel. So that's how long 700 litres lasts for. That is actually a long period of time. Flown just about around the entire active area of the map. Alright, down there we have a bridge. It's an Allied bridge. It was under attack. It's 11:16. It was under attack about 5 minutes ago. Gonna run out of fuel, unfortunately, pretty damn soon. I might have to head back.
wounded.
Alright, there's my runway where I'm going to land. So, I mean, I'm not out of the woods yet, but basically the strategy there was to fly to the enemy's airfield and see if I could intercept any aircraft that had taken off or that were heading back. It didn't work too well because there was cloud, and for that strategy you want to be well above their airfield, but if you do that then the cloud gets in the way. So it doesn't really work with cloud. Other thing is, if there's something below you, you can't necessarily see it because you can only see shooting. So I think I'm actually going to continue the stream. I think what I'm going to, there's 50 minutes left, I'm going to fly the same plane under the cloud to my defensive positions. About to run out of fuel.
Out of fuel.
Out of fuel. Neat. And indeed, the fuel is on 0 gallons. 0 gallons. That's alright. I'm going to land right here. Perfect timing. Very silent now that the engine's off. So I'm going to take off again, same amount of fuel, everything. Same configuration for the guns, but this time I'm going to head straight to my defensive targets and hang around those and wait till I see tracer fire around them. There's an aircraft on the runway. Put my lights on. Looks like a crashed out A-20. And that was a B-25 static object. Alright, so, yeah, 0 combat. That's really unfortunate. So yeah, the strategy of going above the cloud and hunting the enemy near their airfield didn't work in this instance. From down here, flew like this, and then back down here, and then like this to here. So it was a long flight. This time I'll take off from here and I'll go to these. There's plenty of yeah, if I go here I should be out, or even up here somewhere. There's only one, there's this bridge here, I could check that bridge. It's kind of on its lonesome though. I could go here to this area. It does look like the airfield was bombed. I think half of that is a static object such as the B-25. Alright, so 700 litres of fuel. I might go for a bit less than that. Doesn't really need to be so much. 450, because I'm going to be below the cloud. I don't need fuel to climb, so I'll keep it at, let's try 500. 300 meters on the guns. Alright, pretty much good to go. Oh, hang on! I don't want to take off from Ophoven. Actually, it's not a big deal. I can just fly straight north. Same distance. If we have a flare, that means we're under attack. So taking off from here, going directly north, going to hang around this area here, looking for fire from the ground to indicate that there's an enemy in the area. Also looking for flak bursts. Alright, gotta admit I'm getting quite fatigued now, so looking to get some combat. It's pretty good. There's an Allied bridge down there. Enemy keeps on getting spotted at the airfield that I've just left, but I went there twice, didn't see him. So that's a Allied bridge to look after. Oh dear, 33 minutes left. There is Eindhoven there. There's an enemy tank there. Enemy aircraft spotted at Bree 1815. That's pretty specific. I don't know. I think I'll keep going north. Regrettably, I don't have much of any advantage at this altitude. So I took off here, and now I'm about here. We have some bridges up here I should go to. So I'll get to that airfield and then I'll head roughly 10 degrees. There's the airfield there. And if I head roughly 10 degrees, I have my bridges on my right hand side. Reduce the turbo. Okay, now we have 0 turbo. Let's try that. I usually just leave it on and set it and forget it. Alright, there's roughly 10 degrees. There's Eindhoven. Enemy tanks in Eindhoven. 3 bridges up here. Somewhere up here there's one that I gotta have a look at. There's another. No, it's an airfield. And if I see any shooting down there, those bridges are my bridges to protect. So it'll indicate there's an enemy there. More than that, I ain't got nothing. That's a bridge there. Temperature's good, temperature's good. And that turbine light is steady red. Don't know if that's good or bad. It's probably better than it flashing. There's a town with an airfield and another one. No bloody aircraft to be seen. Enemy aircraft spotted near 1614, so I think I'll head back there. I think I just saw a message saying that 1614 was under attack. Also 1414. What the heck do I do? And 1315. If they drop bombs and don't shoot, I won't really see them. Aircraft spotted. So suddenly 3 bridges have had aircraft spotted near them. Well guys, I apologise that so far the stream has been pretty boring, in the sense no action. Getting darker and darker. $16.14, are you kidding me? Aircraft spotted near. Well, that's just where I was. And again near 14.14, which is where I'm very close to as well. Hey guys, I think I can see an aircraft up ahead. It's going to be real hard to keep track of it with this sunlight. But I got one, Or do I? Man, that's just, can't see nothing. Whatever it is, I've lost it. Ah, there we go. Bunch of aircraft down there. Which one do I pick? That's a P47. Damn it. Oh, great. Can't bail out. Total BS. Total BS. Worst stream ever. $20 left. Alright, so that was at 14:14 around here. If I go from gills, So the map ends in 13 minutes, and so too the stream will end. It's been a pretty crappy stream in terms of there's been no combat, and I've been frustratingly, I've been jumped and shot down a number of times. Started off pretty promising at high altitude, but yeah, no combat. There's a plane there. Let's just bloody have a look, eh? Looks like a Spit or a Tempest. Is probably the one that took off. I'm going to say Spitfire. $13.15. I don't know what's what.
I'm wounded.
There's 110. That was a narrow escape. There's the bridge. One of the bridges anyway. Here's one. This is it here. That's what they're going after. There's one. What's that? Spitfire. Damn. 8 minutes left. I can definitely see aircraft when they're here. I can see that Spitfire, no problem. Even going into the fog, I can see him good. Five minutes left. So just to recap, this is the P47D with 350 litres of fuel. Now I'm going to turn around. 3 minutes 40 left. Aircraft. Is it the Spitfire or is it the enemy? Did I just get shot at? Definitely got an aircraft there. What is it? 350 litres of fuel. 3 minutes 30 left. Boost engaged. That plane's flying pretty casually. It's probably the Spitfire. Yep. So yeah, with 350 litres of fuel, this plane's still very heavy, but it's not nearly as heavy as when you take off with full fuel, which is something like 1500 litres. You can kind of do all the kind of Spitfire manoeuvring kind of stuff when you're at this weight. Also, I'm carrying 2 less machine guns than the default, carrying 6 50s in total instead of 8. I am carrying and I've got less than 10 minutes of fuel. I'm carrying the extra ammo, but it's for 6 guns, not 8. Let's see if we can get through this bridge. No chance. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Oh yeah, nice. Ha ha ha. That was alright. That makes up for the whole boring stream that it was. That was a tiny bridge. 40-second. Just me and that Spitfire here, there's no one else. So yeah, I can see the aircraft fairly well okay, it's just that there's none here except for the Spitfire. Oh well guys, can't win them all. I gotta say, on that particular map, regardless of the aircraft I'm flying, I almost never have any kind of really awesome session. I don't know what it is. I think maybe the Allied and Axis airfields are too far apart, or that in a combination with the targets are spread out over a huge distance. I don't know what it is, but it's not the map that I get the best results on. I think it might be also a combination of I don't know, that map has pockets of, so you've got targets for both sides intermingled because some of them are in pockets. So yeah, really no action at all, apart from myself getting shot down or crashing and things like that. I'm still going to fly this plane. I think if there's cloud cover, I've got to stay lower. It's probably the only way to go. And stay bad viz, yeah, and stay closer to my own defense targets so I can spot enemy coming by them. Anyways guys, usual stuff, like, share, subscribe, check out froggyfrog9000.com, support the channel on Patreon or become a member of the channel on YouTube, and smash the like button. I'll most probably be back same time tomorrow for another stream, and hope you guys can join me for that one. Thanks everyone in the chat that participated, appreciate you guys. I didn't have time to read all the comments because I was squinting in the distance looking for enemies, but I'll check it just now. So yeah, catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully. All the best, bye for now.